Shiur Baisai, let's do it. Baby wipes on Shabbos. Oh, whole shiur on baby wipes on Shabbos? What? Listen, there are, you don't know the hack. There's somebody in Bnei Brak wrote a 240-page sefer on baby wipes. I've heard of Koilin that spent weeks learning the sugya of baby wipes. In my prepping for the shiur, I listened to a 5-part series from somebody who issurs baby wipes. And then I listened to a 3-part series from a Rosh Koil that matches baby wipes. So the sugya is massive, it's fun, everybody gets emotionally involved over here. It's the stakes are high. Let's be honest. For those with kids, and in Kal V'chomer those with many kids, the stakes are high. What is the deal with baby wipes on Shabbos? So let's go. There are 2 separate issuri deraisa on Shabbos called sechitta. One is there's an av melacha of melabin with a tolda of kivus. Melabin is whitening, kivus is laundry. And within kivus, there's 3 subcategories of kivus, which are really the 3 sections of the washing machine cycle. What does the washing machine do? It first fills up the thing with water, soaks the clothes. Then it goes and rubs it back and forth. It scrubs them. And then the third thing that the washing machine does is it wrings it out and gets all the liquid out of the clothes. So those are really the 3 things of kivus. It's soaking, it's rubbing, and then it's getting the water out. So that getting the water out, that is sechitta of melabin. There's another sechitta. What's the other sechitta? The other sechitta is the sechitta of the av melacha is dash. Dash is threshing, whatever threshing is, getting the chaff out of the whatever, out of the wheat. Now, dash has a tolda, which is called mefarik, which is usually, juicing is I guess we would call it. For example, you squeeze the grape and the juice comes out. That would be sechitta of dash. That would be mefarik. Now, how do you define the malacha? The malacha is defined as extracting liquid from a solid. So extracting a liquid from a solid is sechitta. Now, who needs a sechitta of melabin and a sechitta of dash? Just, have one sechitta. Anytime you go and you extract liquid from a solid, it'll be sechitta. And how do you ever know whether this sechitta that I just did fits into the category of libun, melabin, or how do I know whether it fits into the category of dash? So there's a zak taisvis, there's a fundamental difference. By sechitta of melabin, I'm squeezing out the liquid because I want to get rid of the liquid. I want to get the liquid out of the garment. And when I get rid of the liquid, that is sechitta of melabin. Dash is the absolute opposite. I'm going and squeezing the liquid out of the fruit, out of the grapes, let's say, because I want to get the liquid. On one hand, it's the same exact thing. On the other hand, it's the exact opposite. It's the same thing that it's squeezing liquid out of a solid, but the intention is in the opposite direction. Sechitta melabin, I want to get rid of the liquid. Sechitta of dash, I'm going after getting the liquid. And that is the fundamental difference. Okay. Now let's look at a baby wipe. First glance. Off the bat, what are we going to think about a baby wipe? When you go and you're cleaning that baby off, right? And what's coming out of that cloth baby wipe? What's coming out is liquid. So when you push, liquid comes out. So you're pushing on the baby wipe, liquid's coming out. That's extracting liquid from a solid baby wipe. It sounds exactly like sechitta. And do you want the liquid or do you not want the liquid? Yeah, you want the liquid. It helps you clean. So which sechitta are we referring to? We're referring to sechitta of dash. Okay, fine. So at first glance, without getting complicated, it seems pretty simple that this is going to be issur. It's going to be sechitta de dash. Now, Let's see what the Achronim and what the Gedolei Poskim say. There's all these types of svarim that have these big lists of all this, him, are Mekel, and him, are Machmir. Let's see if the lists are accurate. Let's see if they know what they're talking about. So, who is the first authority that is quoted on any of these lists? Who's the oldest authority? So, the Har Tzvi Pesach Frank. Now, wait, they had baby wipes in Yerushalayim 100 years ago? Nah. Okay. So what's Tzvi Pesach Frank talking about? The shoyl asked in the tshuva. The shoyl asked, "Can I wet this paper? I'm not exactly sure what type of paper it was. Some type of paper. Can I wet the paper, squeeze it out before Shabbos, and then use that paper, which was already squeezed out before Shabbos, to use it to clean on Shabbos?" Zok the Tzvi Pesach Frank. Zok the Har Tzvi, it's not a problem with sechitta melabin. Why? Because since that paper is disposable, number one, and the other factor is that it's going to get ruined. It's not going to be dirtied. Remember they said dirtied or ruined. One of them he said. Therefore, it's not sechitta melabin. Sechitta melabin is only something for keeps, not something disposable, and it's going to get dirtied. It's not going to get cleaned in this process, and therefore it's not sechitta melabin. What about sechitta dedash? Maybe it's sechitta dedash. So he said it's not sechitta dedash. Why? Once again, we're talking about he squeezed it out before Shabbos. There's no psik reisha that liquid's going to come out. He's not mechaven for liquid to come out. There's no psik reisha. It's not guaranteed that liquid will come out. And furthermore, it's not the derech. It's not normal. It's not the derech to squeeze liquid out of paper. And since it's not the derech to squeeze liquid out of the paper, and it's not a psik reisha, therefore it is not sechitta dedash. Now you'll open up some of these kitzer svarim, and you'll see that the Har Tzvi is listed as being mater baby wipes. Now I want to know, is that being intellectually honest, or is that a fraud? So I think that is a fraud. Why is that a fraud? Because, first of all, this Tzvi Frank, he's specifically talking about one that was all squeezed out before Shabbos. I don't know exactly how much liquid was left in that thing, but he clearly wasn't talking about one that was filled with liquid. It was squeezed out. Second of all, he said it's not the derech. It's not the derech. It's weird to squeeze this liquid out of paper. Chevra, is squeezing baby wipes normal, or is that weird? Seems pretty normal. So therefore, you cannot possibly say that Tzvi Pesach Frank, the Har Tzvi, holds that it's mutter to squeeze out the baby wipes. And I've heard people want to claim the opposite way as well. You could see from the fact that the Har Tzvi was matter because it's ein derech. Therefore, in baby wipes, which it is the derech, clearly Rabbi Tzvi Pesach Frank would aser using baby wipes. Now, I think that's not fair either. Why? Because a tshuva of Rabbi Tzvi Pesach Frank isn't a mishnah. A mishnah, you can make a diak. You said that chiddush, so when you change one factor, he obviously holds something else. When you have a tshuva that comes in, a question, and you answer the question, you answer the question that came in. So we don't have the right to say with certainty that he would hold that if you change that factor, and it's something that is the derech, he automatically asters. We could say that we don't have a proof what he holds. I do agree that if you had to pick the mashmois, the mashmois are noita. It's tilting to the fact that he would aser, but we don't have a proof that he would aser. He said, he's matter because it's not the derech, but he didn't say clearly that if it's the derech, he would aser. Therefore, I don't think it's fair to treat him as the matter, and I don't think it's fair to treat him as the aser. I think he is. We don't have a proof from him. Okay, next piece of evidence that we will bring to the table is the Igros Moshe. Or Chaim Chelik Beis Sif Ayin. Now, this is something that you're going to see all over in some of these svarim. Moshe's matter baby wipes. Why? Because what does he say? So, in this Moshe, he discusses, as the heading of the tshuva says, he's discussing using a wet paper. I don't know what type of paper it is. Wet paper to go and clean the table. And what does he say about this wet paper cleaning the table? And by the way, there is no date on this most of the Chuvas and Igros Moshe have a date on it. There is no date on this. I heard that this was written in the 60s before baby wipes came out. So apparently baby wipes came out in the 70s. That's what I heard. So,
he didn't have a tshuva from the 70s.
and he did not have a tshuva. This is the only tshuva of Rav Moshe on baby wipes or not on baby wipes. So
It could be the fact that he didn't rewrite a tshuva.
that he's relying on this. Once again, this is, like I said before, you can't treat the Har Tzvi like a Mishnah. You can't treat the Igros Moshe like a Mishnah in that respect as either. I mean, the fact. No, I understand, but the fact that we don't have a tshuva that made it into the Sefer, that, you know, so I think that's too much, I think. Yeah. Not the Rambam. Fine. No zipper. Okay. Hard to explain. Okay. So the Maisa, so what does Rav Moshe say? He says there's no, very similar to the Har Tzvi he starts, he says there's no sechitta de milabein, because since it is disposable and it's being dirtied, since it's disposable and it's being ruined and dirtied, therefore there's no sechitta de milabein. Oh, what about dash? Well, surely it's sechitta de dash. So he says the water doesn't get absorbed into the paper, and it's true that even usually we say when even by sechitta, even when it doesn't get absorbed, there's a famous din of sechitta de sa'ar. If you have water in your hair and you want to squeeze it out, the water doesn't actually get absorbed into the hair, but it's still asur midrabanan, even when it doesn't get completely absorbed. So just because the paper doesn't get, he asked this question on himself, just because the paper doesn't get, the water doesn't get absorbed in the paper, still squeezing it out should be asur midrabanan, because just like sechitta de sa'ar. And he says over here it would still be allowed. Why? Because it's ein derech klal to squeeze liquid from paper. It's completely weird, completely abnormal. And since it's completely abnormal, and there's no kavana at all to squeeze the liquid out of the paper, then it wouldn't be and there's no psik reisha that the water is going to come out of the paper. It's not bechlal the rabbanan. It's tartel tivusa. We have multiple factors. We have multiple factors in our favor explaining as to why. We have multiple factors in our favor explaining why this issur d'Rabbanan isn't applicable, and memela there's no issue of sechitta de dash.
It's the same as hot sweet.
It's very similar to the Har Tzvi. It's not every factor is the same, but it's very correct. It's very similar. Very similar to the Har Tzvi.
Baby wipes is it there? Squeeze it out, it's the same idea.
So the kasha on Rav Moshe, everybody who quotes Rav Moshe as being the mater based on this. So the question is like this, yeah. The question is that, is it really ein derech bekach by baby wipes? Surely it is derech bekach by baby wipes. That is normal. And not only did Rav Moshe say ein derech bekach, the squeezing of the paper, he said ein derech klal. And furthermore, Rav Moshe says you're not mechaven to have the liquid. By baby wipes, you're mechaven to have the liquid. What was Rav Moshe talking about? So Rav Simcha ben Cohen, in the back of his sefer, he says that he asked Rav Reuven Feinstein all these kashas. Oh, how could Rav Moshe say that baby wipes are okay based on the way that some people quote Rav Moshe? And because, listen, it's squeezing baby wipes, it's really normal, you know? And number two is, what do you mean you don't have kavana for it? Sure you have kavana. You want the liquid to come out. And Rav Reuven explained that, what was Rav Moshe talking about? He was talking about this like wax paper, this type of stuff that they had for cleaning. And we're talking about cleaning the table. When you clean the table, why do you wet a paper towel when you clean the table from crumbs? When you clean the table from crumbs, the reason why you wet the paper towel is you just want the crumbs to stick to the. It's not because you want liquid going out on the table. You don't want the liquid on the table. You just want it to stick to the paper towel.
Well, sometimes you do.
And if it's a stain, you might want it to go on the table. But if it's just for crumbs, then you have no need for it to go on the table. And that's what Rav Moshe was talking about. And Reuven said that Rav Moshe being mater baby wipes is fake news. Okay. Zokt.
regarding baby wipes, when you're using it, you don't necessarily want the liquid to come out. The same reason you want the wetness of the wipe to be clean what you need to clean.
Yeah.
No, but you want it going out on that baby. You want it to go on the baby to clean it.
Yeah.
Is it that you want to go out on the baby to clean it, or you want what's dirty to come onto the wipe and it's damp for that reason?
Yeah, I think there's more friction by what we were discussing now than just the crumb. And that greater friction doesn't just want the magnetic touch and joining. You need more liquid to rip the frictionless item off the baby.
So who says it's fake news? And not
Fine.
Feinstein?
So Rav Ruben Feinstein says it's fake news. Zocht Rabbi Ephraim Greenblatt, or the River of Ephraim. He also says, from Memphis, yes. He also says that Ramosha asered baby wipes, and this whole Ramosha being matter is fake news. However, and I would say once again from the Igros Moshe, there's no raya from the Igros Moshe that it is allowed. But you're going to tell me you have all these kitzur svarim that quote Rav Moshe as being allowed. What's going on? So the plot thickens because Reb David Feinstein, there's many shmuas. I wrote the name of a sefer that I found over here, but there's many Dibartabam is a sefer that quotes the sefer Dibartabam, which quotes Reb David Feinstein, and apparently many shmuas from Reb David Feinstein say you're allowed to use baby wipes on Shabbos, and Reb Moshe allowed baby wipes on Shabbos. And in the Feinstein home, meaning the Reb David Feinstein home, they use baby wipes on Shabbos.
What's the scar that he has?
So we'll get this far soon. When there's one shmua, you never know. When there's 10 shmuas, then that seems to be the real deal. So we have a little internal family strife when it comes to baby wipes. The way that I view these things is when you have to try to figure out what did Rav Moshe really hold? Did he this? Did he that? Machlekes this way, that way, and especially when Igros Moshe, the way that I'm learning the Igros Moshe, which seems pretty clear, doesn't imply that he held of it. Then, if anything, it's noita that he didn't like baby wipes because his whole heter is ein derech klal. Once again, it's not an absolute proof that he didn't like the baby wipes, but if I had to choose a side from that tshuva, it would be the side that he asers. So I'm gonna take your trey, be mevatel this edus, and I think we're gonna put Rav Moshe to the side, and I don't think he'll be a factor in this psak. I'd rather use all the poskim that have clear psakim and not undebatable psakim than try to guess was Rav Reuven right or was Rav David right. You know, I don't know. I don't want to get involved in those family politics, and leave that for the family reunion. And we're gonna say that we're not gonna use Rav Moshe in this. That's how I would use it.
If he takes the baby wipes before Shabbos, then it could be Rav Moshe Feinstein will be masking on that.
If he takes the baby wipes, what do you mean?
Squeeze the baby wipes.
Oh, okay, fine.
So then
We'll discuss after.
To use these baby wipes on
Maybe.
Shabbos itself.
Maybe, but once again, that's not what he was talking about. He's talking about using it straight up. Okay. Now let's get to the next controversy of who holds what, and we get to this very interesting sugya because there's Rishon Zalman. There's another name. So Rav Moshe Feinstein you can find on both lists. Some people put Rav Moshe Feinstein on the list of Mekilim. Some people put Rav Moshe Feinstein on the list of Machmirim. By the way, this gave me a shtickle balgeva when I was seeing some big Rabbanim Paiskim writing Rav Moshe as Mekel, and then you read the tshuva and he's like not, and like it's so obvious. I think it's like that guy, that Chasher Rav really thought that Rav Moshe was Mekel from that tshuva. I don't know. Sorry. Okay. So you read the Igros Moshe. It seems pretty clear to me. Okay, unless you told me beforehand that he's talking about baby wipes, and then you have to fit everything in. Okay, weiter. Rav Shlomo Zalman. Rav Shlomo Zalman also lives on both lists. Some people put Rav Shlomo Zalman on the list of Machmirim. Some people put Rav Shlomo Zalman on the list of Mekilim. So what does Rav Shlomo Zalman actually hold? So if you open the Shmir Shabbos Kilchasa, and you open up to Perek Yudalid Sif Lamed Zayin, page Kuf Tzadi Vav on the new editions. Yeah, exactly. Down, right there, down 2/3 the way down. Yeah. Okay. So, what does he say? So he says over there that baby wipes are mutter to use. And then what are the next words? You could stop right there, or you could keep on reading. And his next words are saying only the paper ones are allowed, but the cloth ones are usur. So the paper ones are allowed, but the cloth ones are usur. Now, all our baby wipes nowadays pretty much are cloth ones. They're material. They're not paper. Okay, so Rav Shlomo Zalman is matter the paper, and he says another thing, and only if you wipe softly. So wiping softly with paper wipes, Rav Shlomo Zalman is matter. The material ones, or even the paper ones, hard, Rav Shlomo Zalman asers. Okay. There's a Sefer Shulchan Shloima that quotes all these things from Rav Shlomo Zalman, and the Orcha Shabbos say that Rav Shlomo Zalman was chayzer b'soif yamav, and he asered baby wipes altogether. However, in the Shmir Shabbos, it says that he mattered these paper ones lightly. Reb Neuwirth, the one who wrote the Shmir Shabbos, says fake news. Rav Shlomo Zalman mattered the baby wipes, and he was never chayzer. Even b'soif yamav, he wasn't chayzer.
The paper ones.
So once again, his psak, the paper ones. So what's going on? Is another fake news. So who's more authoritative, first of all? Is the Orcha Shabbos and the Shulchan Shloima more authoritative? Or is Reb Neuwirth and the Shmir Shabbos more authoritative? So the Chayra, we're going to have to take the Shmir Shabbos and Reb Neuwirth. Shmir Shabbos was the sefer that Rav Shlomo Zalman went through. I mean, he didn't actually write it. Reb Neuwirth wrote it, but he went, after it was written, he went through it and said, change this, word this way, word that way. So that was what was the sefer that was put out of his psak. Furthermore, Reb Neuwirth, who was, his right-hand man, said that he wasn't chayzer. I have a theory of what happened. My theory is that, somebody came to Rav Shlomo Zalman with material, regular material wipes, and said, could you use these on Shabbos? And he said, no. And the guy said, okay, Rav Shlomo Zalman was chayzer. He said, you can't use it. Meaning it was probably somebody came, or could I use these hard? And Rav Shlomo Zalman, even the paper ones, could I use it hard? And Rav Shlomo Zalman said, no. Oh, okay, Rav Shlomo Zalman was chayzer. But really, my theory is he kept his psak, and it just depended on what we were talking about. Okay.
Not so relevant seeing as we don't know anything about these paper wipes.
Correct. You'll see. Coming up. Don't worry. We're going to have some fun soon. Okay. So next up is, to be on both sides of the list, is Rav Ovadia. Rav Ovadia goes on both sides of the list. Why? Because Rav Ovadia writes a unequivocal heter, baby wipes are mutter. But then, Yalkut Yosef in the back writes that Rav Ovadia said, nowadays that they're no longer using the paper ones, and they're using the material ones, my heter no longer applies. And then, and Rav Ovadia seemingly took, but you know how it works, when you write two things, you can make it to both lists, because if you type into the Eitzar Chachma, baby wipes, mutter, Rav Ovadia is coming up. But if you type in baby wipes usur, depending on your agenda, pretty much. Fine, so Rav Ovadia is on both lists. What does the Shevet Levi hold? The Shevet Levi is also on both lists. This is very strange what's going on, eh? So the Shevet Levi, in the earlier edition of the Shevet Levi, earlier volume of the Shevet Levi, he wrote that he explains of the heter to use baby wipes when wiping softly. In a later edition, he says, people are saying in my name that I mattered baby wipes. He says, it's not true, I wasn't mattered baby wipes. I was just explaining a svara of the Mekilim. And furthermore, it's come to my attention, which I didn't realize the Metzias, but I've been told by many, and I investigated it, this whole wiping softly thing, if you have, let's just put it this way, you have a chazanish shiur matzav going on over there, wiping softly is not a it's not a matzav. It's not happening. Let's be honest. It's not happening, this wiping softly. You're wiping softly, you're not going to get anywhere. And this wiping softly is not a real eitzah. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work. You won't get the intended goal by wiping softly, and therefore you can't tell people that they could wipe softly because it's not happening. And therefore, even though I did say it, but I've understood the Metzias now that it's not happening, and that heter is gone, even though I didn't really say the heter, but even I was trying to justify the heter, but that's out of play, and therefore it is completely issur to use baby wipes. So that is the Shevet Levi. Okay. Before we go on, don't worry, there are some Mekillah. We're going to get to there soon. But this is how the plot just keeps on thickening. Now let's go through for a second. I have 11 possibilities that the poskim bring up as to why baby wipes should be mutter, and the responses from the machmirim. So 11 svaras to be mekel, and 11 svaras why those kulos don't stand. Number 1, Shittas Rambam is there is no sechitta of dash when it comes to materials. When it comes to clothing, there's only sechitta melabin. And as we discussed earlier, there's no sechitta de melabin over here because it's disposable and you're dirtying the cloth. So, Lefi Shittas Rambam, there is no sechitta de dash here. Now, this is true. Lefi Shittas Rambam, the Rambam, no problem. The Rambam would use baby wipes. Maskim. The problem is that the Shulchan Aruch, the Ramah, nobody paskins like the Rambam. Everybody paskins like Tosfos, that it's a problem that there is sechitta d'dash on a beged. So maybe it could some tzirif heter or something like that. But the psak halacha isn't and never was like the Rambam. Okay, number 2. Some people suggest that the water is only on the outside of the wipe. It's not really inside. It sits on the outside of the wipe. Now, I don't know. I look at the wipes. I don't know. I don't see it on the outside. I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about exactly. It looks to me like it's on the inside. I don't know. Let's take a look. I tried the Huggies. I tried the no-name brand one. I don't know. It looks like it's on the inside to me. Furthermore, when I go like this softly, it's a little wet. Then I go outside, I push, much more liquid comes out when I push. So why did more liquid come out when I pushed? I don't know. I imagine it came out from the inside. That's what I assume. So I don't really understand that claim on the Metzias. I don't know. Okay. Maybe beyond me. Okay, next. And by the way, furthermore, even if it's on the outside, even if it's not into the fibers, surely it should still be issur d'Rabbanan, just like sechitta de se'er. Because when the water's not in your hairs, it's on the outside of the hairs. And squeezing it out is still issur d'Rabbanan. So that svara, even if it is true, would only bring it from d'oraisa to the Rabbanan. We'll get to the kavod habrius. Next. Extracting the liquid is a davar she'ein miskaven. That's what some claim. And to those people I ask, have you ever changed a diaper? What do you davar she'ein miskaven? Have you ever tried using a dry wipe? With no liquid out there? It's not a pleasurable experience, guys. Trust me on this one. So I don't know what I've tried. Don't tell me this davar she'ein miskaven. I am maskim that when the guy's using the wipe, he is not focused with the kavana. I'm trying to get the liquid out. I agree that's not on the top of his head kavana. But at the end of the day, that is what he's like going after. When you're pushing the wipe, if you stop and thinking, why am I pushing down on the wipe? The reason that one of the reasons at least that I'm pushing down on the wipe is because I want the liquid to come out. So it's very difficult to call that a davar she'ein miskaven. Some people want to say, and once again, if we accept that it's a davar she'ein miskaven, that shouldn't help us anyways because it's a psik reisha. And even by davar she'ein miskaven, if it's psik reisha, if it's guaranteed that the liquid is going to come out, so it's still issur. So there's hak whether or not it is a psik reisha or not, and I don't really know. I don't have an opinion whether it's guaranteed that liquid will come out of the wipe or not come out of that wipe. I don't know. Maybe. I don't. It's Metzias Shayla. I don't know the answer to it. I'm sure that liquid is usually going to come out when you push with the wipe. Is it a psik reisha? It probably depends on how wet the wipe is. I imagine how hard you push. So maybe it depends. Some people say, well, it's loy nichalei. Have you ever changed a diaper? What do you mean loy nichalei? You want that liquid to help you clean the baby, yeah? Okay, let's keep on going. Some people say it's tzarech hatinok. And the baby has a din of a choyle shein bei sakana. And since the baby has a din of a choyle shein bei sakana, so you could do it. So, So there's two issues with this. Issue number one is, well, if it's issur deraisa, so I don't care if it's tzarech hatinok. Tzarech hatinok doesn't help you for issur deraisa. Secondly, for the most part, it's more tzarech appearance than tzarech hatinok. There are other options. You could clean the baby in the sink. You could use the spritz, dry out the wipes, and use all the spritzers and the different stuff. There are things to be done, but those things are annoying. Granted, they're annoying, but it's more of a using the wipe is more tzarech appearance than tzarech hatinok. Next, kavod abrius. Oh, you can use it because it's kavod abrius. Well, once again, if it's issur deraisa, you can't be matter issur deraisa because of kavod abrius. But it's true that you sometimes could be you could matter a derabanan because of kavod abrius, but you cannot plan yourself out to be matter derabanans for kavod abrius. You know, those Shabbos tissues are extra 2 shekel. We're not going to buy the Shabbos tissues. We'll just have toilet paper. We'll get stuck in the toilet. It'll be kavod abrius. You'll be able to rip the toilet paper, not in the lines, because you can't plan yourself out to be over derabanans because of kavod abrius. You have to machnetza. You have to figure something out beforehand to avoid but if you're stuck, let's say somebody's somewhere, right? And there's only wipes, and there's no other options available, right? No spritzers, no whatever. We're going to discuss different eitzes, but there's no other eitzes available. There's just wipes there. So, and it's going to be one of the ways that we're going to see in a minute, which gets downgraded to derabanan. Then, yeah, that matzav kavod abrius, you could be making on a derabanan. Next, some people want to say that there's no sechitta on wiping softly. If you wipe softly, there's no sechitta. First of all, that premise is contested. It's debated whether there's going to be sechitta when you wipe softly. I don't have a big emotional opinion on this one. I'm not really sure on the Metzias. But what I am sure of, whoever says that has never really changed a proper diaper before. Because, or if they change the diaper with wiping softly, that's going to be the last time that they're going to be asked to change the diaper. Hamevin Yavin. Okay. Fine. So it's not a real eitzah. Fine. Next. Some people want to say the wipes aren't made of gedulei karka and ein dash be'ene gedulei karka. So first of all, if it's true that they're not gedulei karka, it's true there's no dash deraisa, but there would still be a derabanan by doing dash on eine gedulei karka. Okay, now is it true that it's not gedulei karka? So apparently you ask all these companies what's the ingredients, what's of the material, they won't tell you. This is like their secret sauce. You ask Huggies, they're not going to tell you. So the shiur that I heard from one of the Mekilim, he said he sent 4 different brands, the wipes, to the Shatnez factory to do some investigations. 2 came back gedulei karka, 2 came back not gedulei karka. So is it really gedulei karka or not gedulei karka? I don't know. Depends on the brand. Who knows? It was last year, it wasn't gedulei karka. Is this year not gedulei? Who knows? You're not going to really know whether it is or isn't gedulei karka, and there's no point making a list because it might change 2 minutes later. Fine. Another potential heter is, Lamaisa, how much is extracted from the wiper already? A little bit? It's less than a groigorus. The shiur to be chayiv on the issur deraisa is a groigorus. We're only going to throw you off the 2nd-story building, and then when you fall, if you're still alive, throw rocks in your head. If it's the shiur groigorus. Now, Lamaisa, once again, if you have one of those Chazon Issur matzahs, as we were talking about before, I don't know, do 5 wipes, 7 wipes, I don't know, you might get to a shiur gregorus, I'm not really sure. But even if you don't get to the shiur gregorus of what's extracted, maybe you don't. We paskin of liquid. Chatzi shiur asa min haTorah. We paskin chatzi shiur asa min haTorah, so it's also anyways, asa d'oraisa. So that doesn't really help so much. Some people want to say it's not sechitta because the amount that comes out isn't teveach amaras atveach. It's not enough that when you take it out, it's not enough liquid comes out that you could touch it and get something else wet. And I saw different people, some people saying it is teveach amaras atveach, some people saying it's not. So I don't know. I took out my wipes. I did a little test. And it is. They're both. I did the Huggies and the cheap brand. I did both.
Try Kirkland?
Kirkland for sure is, come on. So you go like this, right? Put it on the table. I go like this. Yeah. It gets wet. So it's tefeach amaras litvach.
Let's say it wasn't tefeach amaras.
So that if it isn't tefeach, then it's machloi. Then it's all hak whether that would be sechitta, because it could be that teensy amount that comes out isn't a problem. But whatever, enough does come out, so that's it. Some want to say that it's mutter because it's heilig liibud. It's you're wasting it. Like for example, when you're not even issur if you milk a cow onto the floor, don't worry guys, it's gonna get brighter this sugya. Don't worry, don't worry, Betsy, we're gonna get to the Rosh Hashanah. Don't worry. But we got to start to build up the sugya the right way. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's getting late. We got to get to Rav Asher Weiss. If you milk the cow onto the floor, it's heilig liibud. That's not an over issur d'oraisa. So some people want to say that but when you use the wipe, you're not getting the liquid. It's getting thrown out in the garbage. I think that's a pretty shvach svara, because the heilig liibud is when you're not using the milk of the cow, for example. Over here. Yeah, it's going to get thrown out in the garbage, the liquid, after you use it. You're putting it on the baby to use. So that's a shvachas svar. So the Maisa, who asers using baby wipes? So the list of the people that aser using baby wipes is Rav Yashiv, the Minchas Yitzchak, the Shevet Levi, Rav Nissen Krelitz, Rav Scheinberg, Rav Chaim Kanievsky, Rav Falk, the Dembetziner Rav, Diane Fisher, and Rav Chesel Roth. So it's a pretty heavy list. Okay, and Rav Shlomo Zalman, Rabbi Vadia, and Rabbi Moshe possibly, they go and they aser regular wipes, but they are matter some type of paper wipes. So what are these? There used to be these paper wipes. Then paper wipes disappeared off the market for a gazillion years, and in recent years the paper wipes have come back. What are the paper wipes? The flushable wipes. See, the flushable wipes are designed. The flushable wipes, these guys, you try to rip one of these guys, right? And you have to be pretty strong. Yeah, it's very hard to rip these guys. But that's why you don't want to put them in your toilet. But these guys, no big deal, because what are they? They're paper. Yeah. Azoi. Sponsored by Lily. So, l'chayra, now is this the same exact paper that Rav Moshe probably and Rav Shlomo Zalman and Rav Vadia were matter? Now, very difficult for me to know the historical.
No shot.
I don't know about, it's new generation, but, huh?
It's not wax paper like they were talking about.
Enochinami, I'm not saying it's the same thing, but it's definitely less absorbent in a way. It's less, it goes into the fibers as the material. I don't know for sure if it's the same thing whether you could apply the Rav Shlomo Zalman, the Rav Yashiv, and Rav Vadia, but there's definitely a tzad you could apply them, because the mice of this is paper. Now we did all the people that aser. There's one, I already quoted Rav David Feinstein who was mater, and there's one big name of another mater when it comes to baby wipes. And who is that? That's Rav Asher Weiss. Rav Asher Weiss says that the wipe has 90% of the liquid is on the outside. 10% is on the inside. And therefore, when you wipe a baby, your main thing that you're going after is the liquid on the outside. And that's not sechitta if you're taking liquid off the outside. Some is going to come out from the inside. That's a javar shein miskaven. And it's not a psik reisha. Because I don't care about getting in the liquid when I have so much on the outside. In fact, I don't need to get the baby all wet. Now, most ask on Rav Asher Weiss, huh?
Where is it 90% outside?
Where's this 90% on the outside? I don't know. I don't see it. So I'm not sure.
You
But
check with the manufacturer how they make it.
so they check with the manufacturers, and the manufacturers and also the Orcha Shabbos went to scientists over there, and to say that it's actually absorbed in the inside, and that's what the companies say it's absorbed in the inside, and the scientists say it's absorbed in the inside, and famously the Orcha Shabbos wrote a letter to Rav Asher Weiss that says the scientists say it's on the inside, and Rav Asher Weiss said, we don't care about science. We care about what the eye sees. And there's a very strange conversation if you know who the Orcha Shabbos is and Rav Asher Weiss is. It feels like the roles are flipped in a way. But Rav Asher Weiss says, we don't care about science. We care about what the eye sees. And the eye looks at this and sees it on the outside. Now, I don't know what's going on exactly because Rav Asher Weiss's eyes see it on the outside. But my eyes and most of the Paiskin's eyes don't see it on the outside. Maybe a really soaking wipe, maybe you could see it a little bit on the outside. But Sarach Ian. The Mesa.
If you take a wipe and hold it,
Yeah.
nothing drips from it.
Correct.
If you squeeze it,
Correct.
it will drip.
So you're saying it's a ray that's from the inside.
That's on the inside.
Correct. And as I said previously, when you push down, you get more liquid than when you just touch. It's not a ray brewer. Yeah. So the Mesa just because we're running out of time over here, so let's just conclude like this. Oh, I forgot. Oh my gosh, I don't want to leave you without this. A great heter that I heard from Nissen Kaplan, B'Shem Nissen Karelitz is like this. This is a game changer, guys. Because once again, a lot of people, to avoid these issues, they dry out the wipes. And you use a dry wipe. You spritz the baby. You make the baby wet from a spritzer. And use the dry wipe, which you had to dry out in the sun and whatever, pain in the neck. And that's what a lot of people do. So Dr. Nissen Kaplan, B'Shem Nissen Karelitz, and somebody told me they saw this in the Piskei Teshuvos as well. I couldn't find it. It's like this. You spritz the baby, and then you could use a regular wet wipe to clean the baby. Why? What's pshat? As we said in the beginning of the shiur, there's two types of sechitta. Sechitta melabin and sechitta of dash. What's the fundamental difference? When I want the liquid, when I need the liquid, that's sechitta of dash. If I don't need the liquid, that's sechitta melabin. When I'm using a wipe normally, I need the liquid. When the baby's spritzed up and all wet, I don't need the liquid. Once I don't need the liquid, it's no longer in the category of sechitta, the dash. Now it's in the category of sechitta melabin. This guy's disposable, this wipe. And furthermore, I'm cleaning it? No. This is the absolute opposite of cleaning a wipe. I'm doing the furthest thing in the world from cleaning a wipe. Memela, it's not going to be sechitta melabin. So as long as you spritz the baby, and then you can use even the wet wipe. Now, this is debatable, the svara, but it's definitely a svara. I just want to, I'm running out of time, so we'll just do it like this. Lamais is somebody that wants to actually use wipes. Roy Poskim are against it. A Yerushalayim probably shouldn't, unless you're a Talmud of Rav Asher Weiss or of David Feinstein. But Lamaisa, you don't need to throw the guy off the second story window because there is a Rav David Feinstein and Rav Asher Weiss. If you want to be a little bit more machmir, but you're not really ready to take on the proper chumras, so then the next level would be to use the paper wipes, because at least you might have the Rav Shlomo Zalman, Rav Avadia, Rav Moshe. Next level is that if you want to go a little bit further, spritz and use a regular wipe. Next level, spritz and use a paper wipe. And highest level is you dry it out, spritz, and you're all good. Thank you for listening.